We talked yesterday about getting vision. Having a vision for your show and planning. This is the planning stage, kind of combined with some of the vision. What I was talking or trying to talk about up here is this. When I listen to songs, somebody sends me songs. In fact, the artist I'm working with tomorrow, is that right? I was in Australia listening to his music at like 2 in the morning. And what I do is I get out a piece of paper. I get out a sheet of paper. And in some cases when I'm doing really in depth, like when the group guy was here, Eddie, when we go into weeks of rehearsal, I will pull out sometimes a sheet of paper this big, and I start writing the names of the songs down. And what I do is I just quickly rate the song. It's the impression. What do I get? Has to do with tempo, has to do with power. You know, a 5 is something that is just powerful or rockin'. A 1 is something you can hear a pin drop. A 3 is something that's kind of groove. And there, obviously this is not an exact science. For those you type A's, please just don't get your things in bunches because songs are not necessarily exactly like that. They're just kind of references. So I write the songs down, and this is something, you guys, most of you have the books or the DVDs. I can tell you right now, and this is, I hate to tell you this in some ways, because you can get lulled into thinking it's working. Debbie, you were saying, just by doing this set list, your merchandise sales jumped. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had hundreds of people over the years tell me this. Just by structuring your set, the way I'm going to do right now, or that's in the book, and that's why you need to spend time with it in the book, that merch sales, they go up. But don't be low. That means, oh, I don't have to work on the technical things, I don't have to work on the arrangement of things, that kind of stuff. But so what I do is I rate these songs on a scale of 1 to 5. And again, there's no exact science here. You could have a 3.5. All right, for those of you type A's, it's going, I don't know what it is. Just take a guess, okay? Don't let it stall the process. So I list all these songs. I listen to them. I told you this the other day. I'm giving you my method. And I mean, I recommend, obviously, at some point you come, if you're a young artist, come through our young artist program. You work with Amy, you work with Lang, you work with me. But until then, this is what I do. I list those songs. I listen to them, and and I listen to them under different EQs, equalization on my iPod. If I want to hear the vocals, I put it on pop. If I want to hear the bass, I listen to bass or deep is what it's called on my iPod. If I want to hear more high end, I listen to mostly electronic because I can hardly ever. I'm a bass player, so I gotta have the bass in there with the highs. I don't know what it is. And so I'm trying to pick out parts in those songs. And so I list those songs, and then I just start jamming. And that's, you guys saw this stuff here. We're like piranha. We're like, what about this idea? What about this idea? What about this idea? That's the idea here. It's not an exact science. We try ideas. So of course, I can do this because I've done it for years. And again, I'm not the sharpest tool, but if you've done it 500 times, you can recognize it quicker. But that doesn't mean you can't recognize it. So I go extend intro, develop, the sax solo, milk the vocals here, background harmonies, do something with them. I'll just put develop. I should just put somewhere, maybe up on the web, just show you my notes. Well, and there's no secrets because you're not going to be able to read them. But you'll see develop, riff, pull vocals out, lay a groove down. And so I just start jamming on these songs. I go through one song, listen to it in multiple ways, jam. Same thing, jam. Then I back up and go, okay, so how am I going to do this? Now ultimately, I start getting a vision for going into rehearsal and what I'm going to work on. Then I have the artist play the song. That's exactly what Amy Lang and I did before the band came up here. We went, listened to the stuff at my house some day ago, and we just jammed for about 15 minutes. Well, let's stretch this. Let's pull this thing out of time. It's got an awesome voice, so let's milk this intro. Guy can play sax. Let's give him a solo right at the top instead of all these things that we look for. Then we go into rehearsal. Well, actually, there's two ways to do it. One is I'll kind of construct a set list based, before I even walk in, based on the numbers, 1 through 5, knowing that things could change as we develop the song.